Nate Bittle's point total for the game was greater than either half for the entire Washington team on Saturday in Seattle. So, Bittle has 36 points. The rest of Oregon's team scores 44. He also had 12 rebounds and 2 blocks. KJ Evans had 11, 11, and 2 blocks. I'll talk about him more in a moment, but this was the Nate Bittle show. First possession, they went to Bittle, faces up, and he just flicked the wrist and knocked down a 17-footer, and I thought, well, that's a good sign. He looked really confident and comfortable. Turns out he was confident, comfortable doing everything. He was 3 of 4 from 3, 7 of 8 at the foul line, 13 of 20 from the floor. He logged 39 minutes in this game, and Oregon wins their 7th straight over Washington, 80-73. And Bittle has been awesome this year. It has been so great for a guy whose potential we've seen in the last several years, and he's often been cut down by injury, including last season when he only appeared in 5 games. And now Dante doesn't get the extra year. That unleashes Nate Bittle, and man, he's a weapon in every way. And his defense, I'd say, is great 95% of the time. There are a couple moments where I wonder why he doesn't contest shots. He was playing with some foul trouble at points in this game, but overall, man, he's a stud. Total stud. He is playing great ball right now. He's a finalist for the best center in the country for a reason. I mean, he was making seemingly everything he looked at. I was surprised when he missed, and Oregon needed him to be that guy in this game because Jackson Shelstad, leading scorer, could not hit anything. Shelstad was 0 of 5 from 3 and 0 of 2 at the foul line. I'm going out on a limb and saying he will not have a game the rest of the season where he fails to make either a three-pointer or a free throw with multiple attempts at both. That's just not something he does. He had good looks. They just weren't going down. Shelstad had 4 points in this game. Bamba was 3 of 9, missed all 4 of his three-point attempts. Oregon starting backcourt, 0 of 9 from 3. Not great. As a team, 6 of 21. Not great. Didn't matter. Nate Bittle was a beast. And when he plays like that, Oregon's offense is close to its full potential. And this game was tied at 68 going into overtime, and then Oregon just put their foot on the gas and said, yeah, all right, let's make it 3-0 in overtime games this year. And they did, outscoring the Huskies 12-5 in that stretch. So Bittle, phenomenally brilliant. As they go into the Big Ten tournament, that's Thursday afternoon against Indiana, who they just played 2 games ago at Matthew Knight Arena. Close game. Oregon kind of pulled away at the end, but it'll certainly be a battle. And I'll have more in that game on Wednesday's show. But cannot say enough good things about Nate Bittle, man. 39 minutes for a 7-footer. That's not an easy feat. Not an easy feat. And he has just been relied upon so heavily here down the stretch. Oregon has won 7 straight games on the heels of a 5-game losing skid. I think this keeps them solidly in position to be a 5 seed, and the opportunity to be a 4 seed is still there. Because if you beat Indiana, you get a shot at Michigan State. If you beat the Big Ten regular season champs, I don't know how that doesn't bump you up a seed. Because the Spartans are currently projected as a 2, as they should be, but got to beat Indiana first. That won't be easy. They are also looking like a tournament team as an 11 or a 10 seed. But I also want to give flowers to KJ Evans here, who had 11 rebounds in this game. Somehow, this was KJ Evans' first career double-double. I saw Oregon basketball tweet that out. Couldn't believe it, that this was his first double-double. But alas, here we are. And he has just elevated his game over the last couple of weeks, and it's not a coincidence that Oregon keeps winning games as a result. So he had 11 points, 11 boards, 2 blocks. He was 3 of 4 shooting, made his only 3, 4 of 6 at the foul line. He did miss 2 free throws with the game tied at 68 and 24 seconds to go. But he just stayed locked in, came right back down at the other end, and got the stop on Great Osobor because he is an outstanding defensive player. I have been singing his praises at that end of the floor since before the season began. KJ Evans is not a good defender. He is a great defender. And Great Osobor, Washington's big man, had been having a really good game. And frankly, I'm glad that Evans was on Osobor instead of Bittle, because Osobor kind of had Bittle's number there down the stretch. Dana Altman made sure Evans was on him, and he gets the big stop after missing 2 free throws. Then he goes into overtime. Big offensive rebound off a missed Shelstad 3, floats it over former Duck Frank Kepnong, who got a piece of it. It was a goaltend, went in anyway. Evans was so timely. His rebounding and defense are just as good as you could ask for a true sophomore. Yes, the offensive progression and array of moves has to be better for him to reach his full potential, but man, he's played well. And Brandon Angel continues to start for continuity purposes, but KJ Evans is on the floor late as Oregon's power forward. And he absolutely should be, because he is playing better than Angel across the board, who, has gotten into a bit of a rut, isn't scoring a bunch, but Evans' physicality, defense, been really, really good. And the timing of his rebounding and his defense, he and Bittle had a sequence, I believe it was in overtime, where Washington had about 4 looks right at the basket, and they kept contending or blocking the shots without fouling and came up with the stop. Gave up 5 points in 5 minutes in overtime. Absolutely phenomenal. Is Washington a good team? Nope. Dead last in the Big Ten. Literally dead last. They are not a good team. But it was a packed arena. Winning on the road is hard. And Oregon, again, just found a way. They've had a habit of playing close games all season long. And going into the tournament, they will be right at home if they find themselves in a game coming down to the wire. But the depth of Oregon was showcased in this game compared to last season. It was the Couisnard-Dante show, and that was awesome. They were almost able to ride that to the Sweet 16. I think their ceiling probably would have been getting to the Elite 8. Ceiling on this team is making a Final Four run. The floor, losing in the first round. That's where they're at in the NCAA tournament. Frankly, in the Big Ten tournament, too. They could lose to Indiana on Thursday. They could win 4 games in a row and have an 11-game winning streak going into the NCAA tournament, and likely have played themselves into a 3 seed at that point. All of these things are just as likely, which is why March is great and terrifying. But last year, Shelstad's been so good in the last several weeks. He had an off night. He was taking good shots. He still facilitated, which is something I've wanted to see more from him over the course of this year. I think he's done that in the last several weeks. He had 5 assists in this game and did some nice things defensively, came up with a steal, and I think is, pretty active and just annoying and pesky for opposing teams to deal with, because he's just so incredibly quick. He's not big, but he is really, really quick, and I think works hard at that end of the floor. But last year at this time, if Couisnard had an off night, then that was it. You weren't winning the game, didn't matter who you were playing. Here, Shelstad couldn't hit a shot. Bartholomew, good game, 14 points. Big shot Bartholomew. Had a big 3 late in the second half of this game to snap a 5-minute drought without a field goal for Oregon. Of course, Bartholomew came through in that particular moment off a nice feed from Nate Bittle. But the ability of this team to not be as reliant on just 1 or 2 guys, it is kind of feeling like last year, but not entirely. Bittle just went bonkers in this game. Like, if Couisnard had a day the end of last season where he goes 2 of 9 and 0 of 5 from 3, how many points is Oregon scoring? 60? Maybe? I don't know where all those points are coming from. Dante couldn't put up 36 because he can't shoot and score at all 3 levels like Nate Bittle can. So, they're different players. Dante is a slightly better defender. Both are great shot blockers. Bittle's a better overall scorer. But Washington is 0-3 against Oregon in men's basketball and football since we joined the Big Ten together. You make of that whatever you would like. But it's always good when you beat the Huskies, no matter what the record is. And it was never going to be easy. And it wasn't easy. So now they go into Thursday's game against Indiana, looking to make it 8 straight wins, playing well at the right time. I would love to see them try and find a way to get themselves into a position to be a 4 seed. Not going to be an easy thing to do, but it is definitely possible. But the emergence of KJ Evans, Nate Bittle, I just would love to see TJ Bamba be more consistent shooting the ball. Not from 3. Stop shooting 3. He was 3 of 5 on 2-point field goals, 0 of 4 from 3. Yes, it'd be great if he found a stroke. He's clearly not going to this year. It's an aberration. It stinks, but it is what it is. I like the shots he's taken in the mid-range area, him getting to the bucket. If he can be a consistently reliable scorer, when you've got him and Barthélemy backing up Shelstad and Bittle, and what you get from Evans off the bench, the depth of this team is just so much greater than what it was last year, and it's one of many reasons that they are in the position they're in right now. Win or lose on Thursday, they're into the NCAA tournament, and that is incredibly refreshing. Appreciate everyone listening. I will see you next time. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and go Ducks.